All right, we're live. Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts, episode 177, the last episode for Adam in New York with his fancy blue Nike headset that I wore just for Wayne Clayton. If hopefully he sees this. So, everybody, I hope that your day is going well and that you're ready. We got a ton of really good questions on this episode. But real quick, just going to say hi. We got part of the group here today. We got part of Semantic Mastery traveling all over the world, literally. So today it looks like it's me, Bradley, and Marco. So we'll start on the left and work our way down. So how's it going, Marco?
What's up, man? Living the life.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Nice. Good weather?
Always. I can't complain. The only thing I can't complain about is the weather.
Awesome. Bradley, how about yourself, man? You doing good?
Yeah, man. Happy to be here as always.
Good deal. Well, I mean, cat's out of the bag. I don't think it's any secret to anybody watching this live, but local PR Pro launched today. And so obviously we want to encourage people to go check that out. I'm going to pop the link on the page real quick. We've talked a little bit about obviously some of the benefits and how Bradley specifically has put it to use, but we know a lot of other people have as well. We got a lot of mastermind members who have access and who have been doing the same thing. You know, Rob did some of the testing as well. And something, you know, we struggle with because, and I say this personally from myself, when I first heard about press releases, it was something I really didn't even consider because the first thoughts that came to mind were exactly kind of what we talked about, you know, oh man, I'm going to have to write this stuff. I've got to take the time. It's probably going to cost me way too much. And so I think a lot of that that we wanted to talk about just up front was that, you know, a lot of those have gone away. That they're not expensive in the sense that if you're performing this for a client or you're getting results for your actual business, then the results far outweigh the cost. And then any good service, especially the ones we recommend, are going to write these for you. Again, you can do it yourself, but like most things, we say that you shouldn't. So Bradley, do you want to kind of go further on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, like we actually have a question. Somebody that Rebecca Happy, she sent me an email earlier today asking me some questions about it. You know, if this can be outsourced and, you know, so what's the overall cost going to be to have to get results? You know, what tools and software do we need? I posted her question on the page, the event page for today. So I'll kind of answer that again at that point. But really, you don't need anything else. Like you don't need any software. You don't need any tools. You don't need anything else. There's no other additional expense other than the cost of writing the PR, if you're going to have it written, which I highly recommend that you do so that you don't get bogged down writing press releases. Also, the cost of the distribution. And any good network distribution service out there will have press release writing services as an add-on available. Or if you go to SerpSpace and you order press releases from us, our prices shown include the writing of the press release. You can't even submit your own press release to our services because our writers know what will get past, you know, for the editorial guidelines for the distribution networks that we distribute to. So again, we don't even allow you to write your own press releases, to submit your own press releases, because we want our writers to do it so that we know that they're going to get approved and they're going to get submitted and picked up and syndicated, which is really what you want anyways. And so again, our prices reflect both of those. And as Adam said, you know, we're not the bargain basement group anymore. Semantic Mastery isn't. I mean, we provide enough value on these free Hump Day Hangouts weekly that it ought to be quite apparent that, you know, when we charge a higher price for a course, it's because it's very, very thorough and it flat out works. And again, I've had an 80% success rate with applying these methods and getting in the 3-pack with various types of website configurations too. I mean, all the way down to a single landing page built on ClickFunnels with no content. And I was able to rank in the 3-pack with 2 press releases. So again, a very, very powerful strategy. And I highly recommend that you outsource every bit of it so that you don't have to do the damn work. You should be out there selling this service and let the press release companies, whether it's through SerpSpace or whatever companies you decide that you want to use, let them do the work, right? All you have to do is go sell the service. And so even at the high end, if you're paying $150 for distribution plus writing, if you're selling on the low end, a press release for a minimum of $300, which to be honest, that's my price point. When I sell press releases to my clients, I sell them for $300. I know there's a ton of people out there on the web that are promoting selling press release services for a minimum of $500 per press release. Some say $1,000. That's great. If you can do that, go do it. Knock yourself out. Go rack up as many $500,000 press releases as you can. I'm just telling you from what I sell them at is at $300. And so even if you pay $150 to get the press release written and distributed, you're still making a 100% markup on it. And I mean, and you don't even have to do the work. That's my point. And so that's why this is such a powerful strategy, because it gets results. It gets results very quickly without you having to do the work. You can do at the very minimum 100% markup. So if you sell, in this case, even on the low end, very conservative, if you were to buy the course for $300 and you were to sell it, the press releases to clients for $300, and you're paying $150 on the high end, right, for a press release and writing, then you only need to sell 2 and you've recovered your investment, and anything on top of that is now gravy. And again, if it's going to teach you a method that you can do repeatable over and over and over again, very, very simple to do. So there you go.
May I interject? Anyone looking at this as a cost is looking at this wrong.
Probably not right for it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're saying, oh my God, I have to spend $300, you're looking at this wrong, because what this is a way for you to go to your client and say, I'm going to get your results. That's it. Pitch the result. How are you going to get it? Well, we are going to do whatever. You pitch it. However, you know you're going to do press releases. Part of my strategy is going to be getting your name out there, getting your name into news sites and several news sites, and local sites will pick it up, and it's going to get you exposure. So that's a big selling point to get that name out there, right? So what you're actually doing is you're selling results. You're not making, and it's not an expense. It's not a cost to you, because it's going to pay it for itself. I mean, over and over and over again, once you implement the strategy, because you can sell it to every client. Every client needs a press release for whatever reason. I mean, even if there's no reason, you can make up a reason for a press release, get it out there, because the idea is to get the client in the 3-pack. You get results, you get them phone calls, they're going to be happy. Now that you've provided results, you then become, oh wow, this person is really an expert in the matter, in getting traffic. And so now what you have is you've positioned yourself as an authority in your client's eyes, and now you can upsell. You can upsell whatever service you want. And I guarantee you that 9 out of 10, the client will go for whatever you recommend at a markup, of course. And you don't have to do it, because SerpSpace, our parent, well, not our parent company, but our partners who provide all of these done-for-you services, will do it for you. And all you have to do is mark it up. You don't have to do anything. It's hands-off SEO. We will take care of everything. All you have to do is sell it. How simple is that?
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm excited. We got a bunch of people joining, and I just want to pop this in there. You know, we say it from time to time about membership having its privileges. Someone might have said that before. But, you know, Mastermind members get this for free. So if you've been thinking about it, you've heard about the Mastermind, or you've been thinking about joining, you know, now is also a good time. So we like to reward our members, and we're certainly doing it with this. But let's get into it. I know we got a lot of questions, and some of them have to do with the PRs as well. So I think we're gonna just jump into it.
I have to comment on that, because you buy a membership and you get all of the information that's in the Mastermind. You get access to all of the partners in Semantic Mastery. You get access to the Facebook group. You get access to webinars every other week, and then on top of that, you get the local PR Pro for the price of your membership. So how cool is that? I mean, it just paid for itself, and you're going to make money right off the bat. I mean, this is like to me, it's a no-brainer. I wish this had been available when I started.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we're good for questions now?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm not going to worry about the picture-in-picture thing today. We got too many questions, so if you guys are cool with that.
Let's roll.
All right. First question, Caroline Miller. Hey, one question. Do you know a good service tool to extract contacts from keywords? For example, when I Google plumbing New York, that I get all the contacts email plus looks like telephone number. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of scrapers out there. The two that I'm using are Lead Kahuna by David Sprague. I don't know if you can still get that. You probably can. He always has like a backdoor link somewhere. You could even probably look at leadkahuna.com/new. That might even give you an option to buy it there. I know a lot of his products have that. Also, I'm using Leads Recon. And Leads Recon is a tool developed by Ted Chen, who's the mastermind behind Power Suggest Pro, our favorite keyword tool of all time. And so it's a solid product, Leads Recon. It's simple, which is nice because it just basically pulls back the data that you're going to need, and it does it rather quickly. So Leads Recon is also a really good tool. Adam, I don't know if you could find a link for that. I tried to, but I couldn't.
Yeah, it's not open right now.
Oh,
but I was talking to him when we were working out the deal for everyone to get the discount on Power Suggest Pro, and I can't put a date on it yet, but we're trying to work something out with him so that Semantic Mastery subscribers can possibly get into Leads Recon. Because yeah, it's totally closed right now. So we'll let you know when we get it worked out.
Yeah. So those are Caroline. Those are the two that I use. I'm not sure if you can get to either one of them, but again, there's a million types of contact scrapers out there. So just do a Google search if you can't, if you don't want to wait until we can get you the availability of the ones that I use, then you could just find something out there that's comparable. Okay. There's a lot of tools out there that will do that. Biz Trends. Apparently this is Jeff. One of these days I'm going to make a note. I'm surprised so many of you guys log in like with your actually like your pages, unless you set up your personal. Let's see what it says here. Yeah, so that's an actual page. That's interesting because we get a lot of that on here, actually. That's crazy, instead of a profile. So what's up, Jeff? He says, hey, guys, as always, you are the bomb.com for providing such great value to us all. Semantic Mastery rocks, POFU. There you go. We need to drop that link again. Thank you. Question regarding the PinVid theme. As of the time of posting this question, both the following sites are unavailable, and the only place I believe the Kevin Polley PinVid theme was available. Network Empire and both Chrome and Firefox, they tell me that the connection is not private, neither will connect to the site. I actually think I can still connect to the site, but I did a little bit of research earlier when I saw, yeah, see, I'm able to connect. When I saw your question posted a couple days ago or whatever, I went and looked, and you're right. The semanticwpthemes.com, that was Kevin Polley's website where he sold those semantic WordPress themes, and apparently that domain is expired. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I could contact Matt DeCruz and find out if they're still selling that. I'm not 100% sure, because remember, they kind of all split up recently within the last 6 or 8 months or something like that. So it's not the same group as it was before. Not all the members of Network Empire are they've kind of switched around. So I don't know if that's still available or not. I could find out. I'm going to make a note of that right now, and I'll have to ping you back, Jeff. All right. PinVid theme. It was a good theme. I've used it quite a bit for video marketing sites or video broadcasting sites. That's specifically what I used it for. So, for example, when I was creating a whole lot of, I had a whole lot of PBNs that I decided not to use as PBNs anymore because they were never themed correctly. Like, they were the old school style PBNs, like before Google really started cracking down on that stuff. So I turned a lot of those into just what I called video broadcasting sites, were essentially syndication points for YouTube videos. And the PinVid theme is really good for that because it was marked up like semantically. That's what, semantic WordPress themes, as the name denotes. So anyways, I'll reach out and see if I can find out about it. But in the meantime, you asked about the pin. Let's see, there was another one, the Pinboard theme by Themify. Yeah, I've used that as well. In fact, let's just go take a look at that. It wasn't quite as good as far as because it wasn't marked up, at least at the last time I used it. It wasn't marked. It didn't have semantic markup, and then I doubt that it probably does now. But it was still a good theme for like a video site, or if you're doing a heavy image site. Either one is good because they kind of mimic like the Pinterest, right? And so those are great for like images or thumbnail images if you're doing videos, or if you're just doing flat out as some image based stuff. Okay. And yeah, I've actually used this before, and it's not a bad theme. Again, the only reason why I preferred the other one was because it was marked up with semantic markup. Okay. So there you go. But you can also accomplish using, plugins. there are some like video sitemap plugins out there. There's the Yoast add-on if you're using the Yoast SEO plugin. I don't recommend that though. But there's also some other video sitemap plugins that you can add to a theme like that. The Pinboard theme by Themify, which will help to mark up. Like it'll give you a video sitemap, which will have the structured data markup in it, so that you can submit that to Search Console, and you can actually still get your video thumbnail images to show in the search results. Which I thought they had done away with that, but if it's marked up properly, it will show. In fact, just to show you guys, this is quite interesting. We were looking at the mastermind like a couple weeks ago. Marco and I were on our Semantic Mastery Mastermind webinar, and we were doing some discussion about RYS tactics and some local SEO stuff. And I brought up the Virginia SEO example again. And take a look at this, which is crazy, guys. Oh, wow. Somebody pushed WordPress.com from number 2 to number 3. Look at that. Anyways, this is a WordPress.com post, guys, and it's got a video thumbnail image showing. You see that? Isn't that cool? And guys, I didn't do any markup on this at all. Again, this has been like this now for at least 2 weeks, maybe even a month, or 3 weeks, I think. Anyways, what's really cool about it is that's a video thumbnail image showing, but it's a WordPress.com post URL. You see that? And I didn't do any markup. This just happened. Like, and it's been like this for, damn near 3 years. It's been just the regular WordPress, post metadata here. It didn't have the thumbnail image, is what I'm saying. And within the last month or so, this has popped up with this thumbnail image, and it's been there for at least 3 weeks now. And it's really cool because I didn't change anything on here. I don't know what happened to cause that. But anyways, so thumbnail images will absolutely show on on URLs outside of YouTube, as long as you've got proper markup, or apparently if you're on WordPress.com, because I don't know what the hell happened to make that, to cause that. Okay. Let's see. Each of the 3 channels will have SerpSpace two-tier persona rings, each with associated websites having a single brand-based syndication ring around them, with the obvious goal to rank the shit out of videos. That's awesome. What is your recommended semantically coded social share author box plugin? I don't know about social share plugins. I don't really mess with those much. Shit, I can't remember the one that I would typically use when I did add them. I don't really, most themes now have that social share stuff integrated right within the theme itself. So I don't really use the plugins for that anymore. I think it was a floating social something or another. It was something like that. And it would have like a floating bar you could have it on the left or the right side and that kind of stuff. I would use one of those when I used to use those plugins. I don't anymore because, like I said, most themes have that integrated. I use Thrive themes a lot now when I'm doing WordPress stuff. Authorbox plugin, again, most themes, modern themes, are going to have that kind of functionality built in. If they do not, then this is the one that I used to use, Starbox, which it's by squirrely.co. They've got it's a really good Authorbox plugin with some really cool, you can see how it looks right here. And you don't need the pro version, by the way. You can get away with just using the free version. But I liked it because you can add a whole bunch of different kinds of social links in there, which is really, really good, right, for increasing authority for an author profile. So it's called Starbox. Again, they got a free version, so check that out.
I use Simple Author Box.
Okay.
As a plugin, and it works really well.
There you go. So Roxanne's up. She says, hi, and thank you in advance. 2 things, please. I've gotten conflicting information in the past and need you to once and for all clarify, please. Is it true that Google only allows videos in the main Google search for certain niches and keywords? Not well. There's some truth to that. Let me finish the question first. So if you find a keyword search that does not have a video on the first page, you should move on to another term because Google is not allowing video for that term. No, that is incorrect. Here's the thing, guys. There are certain categories of search queries, right, that will that will show more videos than others. So, for example, informational queries like how-to queries and things like that are obviously poised for videos, right? They're prime to show videos. That's why if you search any type of like how-to keyword, you're going to see a bunch of videos on page 1. But then more like commercial type terms, a lot of the times, like transactional terms, sometimes it depends on the industry, right? In the specific search phrase itself. But some of those, they just make videos aren't supposed to be one of the things that would typically come up for that type of a search query. So Google doesn't promote those to the first page as readily or as easily or as quickly as it would on some of the other types of keyword search categories that would show videos that are friendly to videos, if that makes sense. So but just looking at a SERP page, the first page of Google for a particular search query and not seeing a video on there doesn't mean don't attempt it. Because first of all, what happens if nobody's attempted it in the past? You'd never know, right? I mean, my point is, even if somebody's attempted it in the past, but they didn't know what they were doing and they had shitty SEO, right? So for example, if you've done a search on a keyword and you click and you see on page 2 there's a video, or page 3 there's a video, or you go to the videos vertical tab, right? The vertical search for videos, and you click and you see that, yes, somebody's optimized for your specific keyword, but maybe they just had a really crappy video that wasn't optimized well. They didn't know what they were doing. And even if you go research the video and it was optimized well, maybe they didn't have syndication networks. They weren't doing embeds. They weren't sending social signals or views and engagement to it, things like that. So there's a number of reasons why that video might not be ranking. And it doesn't mean that that Google just won't rank it because it's that particular type of a search query, right? That may be an indication, but you can't go off. I've ranked videos many times for search queries that other people have attempted to, but their videos were on page 2 or page 3. And I've been able to rank on page 1 just because I had a better method, a better process. Does that make sense? However, like I said, there are certain search queries where Google just does not like to promote a video to page 1. And particularly, I've had issues with that. Like, I'll give you a specific example with real estate terms for targeting like general terms like real estate or realtor or real estate agent plus city. Those are incredibly difficult to rank videos on page 1 for, right? Now, ranking a video on page 1 for a specific house number or a specific listing number or something like that, that's relatively easy. But ranking for something like realtor, I'll give you a specific example because I had a real estate broker, a company was a Remax brokerage firm or whatever, that I was doing video SEO service, well, just various marketing services for in Warrenton, Virginia. And that's a rather small town. It's not a really competitive town. But all of the results on page 1 were obviously like Long & Foster, Remax, Zillow, Redfin, Century 21, like all these super high authority, incredibly aged, like 15-year-old, sites, websites. So ranking a video on page 1 for a general term like that, I fought for months and I did some really cool things. I did some press releases. I was working with newswire.net at that time. And newswire.net would allow a video embed, and you could even contact support and do a live event. So like a Google Hangout on Air or a YouTube live event. At the time it was a Google Hangout on Air, and we could embed that into the press release and have and it was a scheduled live event or a scheduled Hangout on Air, which is now like a YouTube live event. Anyways, we had it scheduled for the live event to go live the same time the press release was distributed, right? Was picked up and syndicated to all the press wires, cables, press cables, they call them. Anyways, that worked. Like I was able to force a video on the page 1 that way. Like as soon as the press release went live and the Google Hangout, the scheduled Hangout on Air went live, we got to page 1, but it only lasted like 3 days until it pushed back to position 11. So it was the top of page 2. And no matter what I did, occasionally, and I worked on it for 3 freaking months, and occasionally I would get it to pop past 11 and get on the page 1, and it would, maybe position 10, maybe position 9. But it would last for only a day or 2, and then boom, right back to position 11 or position 12. So it was always hovering right at the top of page 2, and it would never stay on page 1. That's when I determined those are one of those types of queries that are just incredibly difficult to rank for. And so I said, I'm not going through this anymore. It's not worth it. In which case, that's when you start targeting stuff that is a little bit easier. So again, to answer your question, Roxanne, just because a video is not on page 1 doesn't mean it can't be done. There are certain queries that Google just will not like to promote a video to page 1, but it can still be done. You can force it, but how long will it stick? And that's why I typically, when I realize that I've come up to, I've come across one of those types of circumstances, then I just say, okay, this is not the right approach. Let me try something else. Either target other keywords, find a different angle, or use some sort of other methods that will rank on page one because it's difficult to do with the video. Does anybody want to comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We ran into the same problem, and it's not really worth the effort. You can rank on the first page for any keyword, any niche, but RankBrain now is smart enough and quick enough that it will filter out your video because it knows that it's not supposed to be ranking, whether it's in the first page or in the niche. And we found that out through doing tests. Payday loan, Rob and we did that, and we saw it, I mean, disappear right before our eyes within 10, 15, 20 seconds. It would rank. We would rank it in minutes, sometimes even less than a minute on the first page. But the Google filter would take over. The RankBrain would come in and filter it out and get rid of it. So why go through all that trouble of trying to rank a video number one for 30 seconds? Absolutely makes no sense. So find something where it'll stick. But maybe in the niche something will stick. Like Bradley said, page 2, page 3. You might be able to push it to page 1. I mean, there's a reason why those videos are on page 2, page 3. Sometimes it's because they just didn't know what they're doing, so it might be worth a try. Yeah. But if you're just at it for weeks and weeks, and it goes to number 1, it comes back, goes to number 1, comes back, move on to something else.
Right.
Move on, because it's not really worth it. You can do a whole lot more with other tools that you have at your disposal, especially if you're part of Semantic Mastery, where we give you all kinds of different ways to use Google and to rank in Google and to get results.
Yeah, and then the other part of that is, when guys, you remember SEO is not the be all end all, guys. When you come across a situation like that where you're fighting something to try to rank it for weeks, go the pay-per-click route, guys, the paid route. I mean, you can still generate a ton of traffic that way, and even like YouTube traffic is, still incredibly inexpensive at the moment. So you can generate traffic right within YouTube that way if you know how to set up targeting. Roxanne, does Semantic Mastery have a course or training that focuses on video marketing exclusively or mostly? No, not really. I mean, we've had some stuff in the past, but some of that stuff is dated. We are going, our next module in the mastermind training is going to be the video marketing module, which will probably begin around the first week of May, because we're in the prospecting module right now. So, I mean, at that point, it's going to be, a good 6 or 8 weeks dedicated specifically to video marketing, which will include video SEO, video PPC, which, AdWords, AdWords for video, as well as Facebook video. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing, a lot of SEO work there too. So, we'll talk about it then, but at the moment, currently, no, nothing real current anyways. Okay. Although Syndication Academy really, that was kind of developed to rank both YouTube videos and websites with using the blog. So that's something else that you might want to consider. Okay, Muhammad, I read your question, and then I see that you have this edit down here. Which, guys, everybody go +1 Muhammad's post. That's freaking fabulous, dude. He says, first of all, his question is, hey guys, how would you build citations if the business has a phone number that leads to an answering machine? How would the bot that calls or text verify the number? I don't know, Muhammad. If you can't forward that phone number to like somebody's cell phone or a live phone where people can answer the phone or receive text with like confirmation codes and stuff, then I don't know. I don't know how to do that. That seems kind of silly to me to have a business line going directly to a voicemail or an answering machine, unless it was a redirect phone number. I've got several set up for the prospecting funnels that I'm building right now that are just like, when somebody calls a number, it goes directly to voicemail, because I've got these like results and advanced lead gen assets set up that I don't have service providers in place for yet, but I'm generating leads. So I want to be able to show analytics and capture potentially leads, not even necessarily so the leads get serviced, but just so that I have a history to show when I'm talking with a service provider, a prospective service provider, to say, hey, look, this is how many leads I've gotten from these assets in the last 7 days or whatever. But those are all forwarding phone numbers that are forwarded to a voicemail box. So I can redirect that phone at any time. If I was going to be building citations, then I could just redirect it to my cell and actually receive calls and or texts. But unfortunately, if it's not a VUMBR or, excuse me, a virtual phone number, then I don't know what to tell you. And that seems awfully silly for somebody to want to promote to me, like a local business with a phone number that goes to an answering machine. That seems a bit dated, but so I don't really know what to tell you on that, Mohammed. But the second part of this, guys, everybody go +1 it, please.
Dude, look at that. Everyone, please, because he's been trying so fucking hard, man, to do this, and you rock, man. You stuck to it.
He sure did. I tried to talk him out of almost, dealing with realtors, and he was like, "No, I'm sticking with it." And he made his first sale using the video the video lead gen system model, guys, which is prospecting with video emails, and that's awesome. And $2,000 a month, guys. He just landed a $2,000 a month client using the video lead gen system. And he was in the mastermind for about a month, but he had to drop out because his income's been low. But he just kept coming to Hump Day Hangouts here, guys, and asking questions and applying what we provided to him. So he's taken all the action. All we did was give him a little bit of information, and he's been able to land a $2,000 a month client now. And now he says, I'm returning to the mastermind ASAP. So Mohammed, congratulations, man. I'm proud of you, buddy. I knew you were going to do well. So I'm really proud of you.
And yes, let me say yes. If you come back to the mastermind, reach out to me personally, and I will give you a personal half-hour phone call just because you rock, man.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So congratulations, Mohammed. You deserve it, buddy. Biz Trends again. That's Jeff, right? Yep, Jeff. Okay. He says, well, he's just answering for Mohammed, answering a question for Mohammed, and I totally agree with what he says here. NAP is very, very important to consistency, but then I think Mohammed clarified. So I'm just going to keep moving, guys. We got too much to go. So Nigel, what's up, buddy? This is another guy similar to Mohammed that's here every week asking a lot of questions. So Nigel, you're next, buddy. you gotta come join the mastermind soon too. Bradley, the guidance on YouTube setup from last week worked like a champ. Thanks, boss. You're welcome. Number 1, got a referral for a plumbing contractor who specifically asked to improve his page 3+ ranking for emergency HVAC and local and surrounding area. I want to use SerpSpace services to arbitrage. Wow, this is almost like, wow, that's a great question. We were just talking about this yesterday, my partners and I. I want to use SerpSpace's services to arbitrage and ensure I deliver, but need advice on what to offer and how to charge upsell/retainer. They seem open to month-to-month recurring fee, want fast results and phone to ring. Gatekeeper says they are willing to pay with proof. Analytics, not sure how to best provide that. They're currently paying $500 a month for basic Facebook posting, which includes $250 AdWords, which is generating very little, if any, calls. Business has decent website, less than 3 reviews, no list building, no videos. Your expertise would be invaluable in helping to close this client specifically. How would you approach this? Which SerpSpace packages would you offer and in what order? Would ranking a video and perhaps press release be a good start? Okay. That's interesting. I mean, first of all, like when I have a conversation with a prospective client, guys, one of the things I ask is, what is your marketing budget? Or what are you currently spending on marketing to generate leads for your business? And I ask that question. And if I get any pushback, then they're not somebody I want to continue talking with, right? Because it's my job as a consultant to ask those kind of questions to determine, how serious they are about their business, and also to see kind of where their head's at about, like, how do they view marketing? Is it an expense or is it an investment, right? Marketing should be an investment, guys. It should provide a return. And that's an investment, not an expense. An expense is something that you just, it's a liability. It's just money going out. But marketing should provide a return. And so when I talk to somebody and they give me a little pushback on when I ask them what their marketing budget is or what they're currently spending on marketing and to generate leads online, that kind of stuff, if they don't give me a good answer, then a lot of the times I'll try to kill the conversation and move on, because I realize that they're going to be difficult to work with. I'm not saying that's what you're dealing with, Nigel. But what I would ask is, you say they're currently spending $500 a month, but $250 of that is going to AdWords. So really, they only got $250 a month in budget, right?
Well, I'd say you could go in there and clean house if you can get them some results. So like this is one where you lead with value, and I may be reading between the lines, but I mean, it looks like they're a little, wary because they're already spending some money and not getting results, and they've got it backwards. They're paying $500 for social posting.
Yeah. Right.
Which is crazy. And then if you could switch that around, even get them to go 500 ads, 250, something else, you could get some really quick results and then upsell them on a bunch of other stuff. I'll let Bradley and Marco speak to like the tactics, but as far as a strategy on this, it looks like you could come in here and just get some low hanging fruit for them real quick.
Yeah, and so that's, you know, when I would find out first of all what they're comfortable in spending. So that's one of the questions I would ask. So then you can develop, and if, by the way, if somebody says, you know, well, why do you need to know that? You say, look, I'm going to customize a proposal for you that's going to work for your business, and I need to know what your, you know, what your budget is. I need to know what your threshold is, so that way I can design a proposal that's going to work. Guys, trying to design a proposal when you don't know what the client is even willing to spend is incredibly difficult, because you're gonna sweat your decision about what the proposal is. You're always going to wonder, am I asking too much? Am I asking too little? Am I going to scare them away with this proposal because it's, you know, it's way above and beyond what they're willing to spend? You don't know any of that, and it'll drive you crazy, because you'll submit the proposal and then you'll sit up at night thinking about it. You'll lose sleep, waiting for a reply. And then you'll be thinking, oh man, maybe I need to drop the price and blah, blah, blah. And you have no idea. And so that's why I ask those questions. By the way, Nigel, the best book I think I've ever read for like how to do these kind of sales when you're conversing with a prospect and asking these questions is called Spin Selling. It's great. It's a fabulous book. Situation, problem, something. It's SPIN is an acronym. Anyways, check it out. It's a great book. It's how I learned how to talk to prospects and ask them questions. Okay. So as far as the actual services, once you understand what the budget is, then you can develop a plan around that. As far as arbitraging services, you know, we have our standard operating procedure, Nigel, which I'm sure you're aware of. It's pretty much outlined in our battle plan, which, by the way, battle plan 2.0 is coming out soon, next month, I think. You know, we talk about the foundational stuff, syndication networks. I try to always sell that. Done for you drive stack. You know, that's something I talk about. I don't tell them, hey, it's a Google Drive stack. Like, I mean, I try to explain it in layman's terms. But now press releases are standard operating procedure. And so like, and that the reason press releases are standard operating procedure is because it's like almost instant results. You combine that with a drive stack and you can like literally crush it for them. You could probably get them results within 30 days. Most likely you could. And then, you know, that way you can show them results very, very quickly. If you want to try to show them results up front, do what I do. Like, for example, if this is a serious conversation you're having with them and you feel really good about it and you just need to show them something to provide proof that you can provide results, do what I do. Rank some videos for them. Do it for free. Some people are going to say, oh, don't do shit for free. Look, that's how I secure deals, guys. I do free work, and it's usually just video stuff because it's easy to do. I can get results very quickly, and then I can show them tangible results and say, look, I did this for you to show you that I know what I'm doing and that I can provide results to earn your business. I did this to earn your business. Now, can we talk? And then and it works really, really well, guys. And video stuff is a great foot in the door. That's how I use it. So I would recommend that you do that. And then as far as arbitraging stuff, you know, a good rule of thumb is to try to mark stuff up 100%. So you double it. Because even if right now you're submitting you're buying stuff from us, like for example, I just mentioned this earlier, press releases. You can buy press releases from SerpSpace, done for you, written, everything, for $150 tops. If you're buying the press release plus, right, which is it's got 450 syndication points. You can embed maps, you can embed videos, all of that. That's our premium service. Press release plus, $150 roughly. You can sell it for $300. It's 100% markup. So you pocket $100, just a slight overhead, right? You've got operating expenses. If you have a VA which handles your client fulfillment, which you should, maybe not right away, Nigel, but very soon as you start to scale your business, you should hire a VA. So you're going to cut into that 100% markup a little bit to cover your overhead, to cover your labor costs, things like that. So my point is always try to mark stuff up at least 100%, in my opinion. You guys want to comment on that? Just some long questions today. No? Okay.
No, I think that's good. Yeah.
Okay. So again, I would start with the things that are going to provide results very quickly, like ranking a video, that like for free to get them to like at least to accept an offer. And then what you could always do, guys, and I've done this in the past too, is provide like a proposal that starts off small with just a couple of services to keep their expenses low, like the cost low, the point of entry low. And then, but in the proposal state, like at the end of 60 days, we're going to revisit this because here, if I can provide you results like I expect to, between now and 60 days, and I'm just using 60 days as a number. It could be 30 days, it could be 90 days, it could be whatever. But let's say I expect to be able to provide results for you on this level of proposal within 60 days. And if I do so, then I would recommend at the 60-day point that now we upgrade to, and then that's when you start adding on additional services. You upgrade them to for even more, because you've now proved to them. So instead of like, blowing your load, so to speak, all at one time on the front end proposal, you can do like a graduated, like proof, let me show you proof type proposal that kind of increases as more and more results come in. That way you're laying the groundwork right up front for what you're going to be asking of them as far as an investment in the marketing campaign going forward for like the next 6 months or 12 months. So it's something that I've done. It works really, really well. Okay. By the way, does SerpSpace offer done for you press release stacking like Local PR Pro? No, not at the moment, but I have a VA that handles all of that for me now for my own agency, for all my clients. She does it every month for me now, because I do press releases for all of my clients now every month. And I was thinking I'm going to approach her about possibly making that much more part of her business to where we could provide that as a service. Right now it's not available, but it may be soon. Okay. We'll keep you posted. Yeah. Okay. There's another question coming up about this too. The IFTTT, like apparently WordPress.com blogs are getting suspended, guys. Now, we've got a Syndication Academy update webinar tomorrow, guys. That's one of the issues I'm going to try to investigate and provide you guys some, resolutions or some fixes or some workarounds tomorrow. Can't guarantee it because I haven't had a lot of time to mess with it. I'm going to try to take care of all of this tomorrow, but I will discuss this at length tomorrow. Let's see. Should I copy information to make another WordPress blog and call it brand one and reconnect? Yeah, you can try. You can try to set up another WordPress.com blog. Again, the point is I know I'm having somebody else posted on the page something very similar, and there was some comments about it in the Syndication Academy Facebook group. So apparently WordPress.com is cracking down on automation, and if that's the case, it's the case. I mean, there's not much we can do about it, guys. That happens from time to time. Just find other properties. We'll find other methods. Okay. I'll let you know, Nigel, tomorrow, though, at the Syndication Academy update webinar. Gordon says, hey, guys, I feel like saying thank you for all the help you provide each week is not enough to express the real gratitude, but just know that it's the biggest thank you you could ever imagine, +1. Can you please help me with the following? If you use a domain for local lead gen site that contains the niche, can you include the same niche in the URLs for the inner pages? You mean like the slug, targeting specific cities, bestlocalplumber.com/plumber in Austin? You could, but I wouldn't. Because that's over optimization. That's clearly over optimization. In 2012, that would have worked great. Now it's not. I mean, I don't recommend that. What I would do is just put Austin or Austin-TX or Austin-Texas spelled out. That's how I would do it. Because you've got plumber already in the domain. It's clearly going to be about a plumber. So all I would do is include the location name as the slug. Okay. And guys, I always try to include the state abbreviation. Well, it depends. It depends on how broad your site's going to be. If it's only going to because bestlocalplumber.com, right? That could be that could be nationwide, so to speak. So remember, there's a lot of cities that are in more than one state. And so just keep that in mind. If you plan on building a big site that covers a lot of different areas, then I would include the state modifier as well. Or you could even silo. If you're doing complex silo, you could create silos state by state. Right. So you'd have basically 50 silos if you're going to do United States. And then each state silo would have, city pages within it or city posts, depending on how you develop it out. Okay. Or you could even do with a complex silo structure. This can get a bit complicated, but you could do like a state and then a county and then which would be, so your top level categories would be state, your subcategories would be counties, and then your posts would be cities. Right. Or if you're just doing a statewide site, then you could do a state, like you could do counties as your top level category. And then you could have just a simple silo structure with posts that are city posts, or you could get even more granular and do top level categories as counties and then have cities as your subcategories. And then you could actually have like supporting posts that cover like various localities within a particular city, boroughs, districts, neighborhoods, things like that. So it really just depends on how complicated you want to get and how much competition you're up against as to how you're going to structure that site. As far as the URL structure, try to keep it short and succinct. That's what I always try to do.
if I can add to that just a little bit, you know how we're always testing. I mean, constantly testing. And during one of my tests, it actually came up. Not only is the Google URL submitter throttled so that it does it, I think you're allowed, I think it's 10 per day now, 10 URLs per account per day, per Gmail account per day to use the URL submitter signed in, so that you don't trigger the reCAPTCHA. But anyway, this type of URL setup where you include the keyword in the URL multiple times, like the same one, this has plumber, and some people will go like one more plumber in there. It's not indexing as well as if you keep the URL the way Bradley just suggested.
Yeah.
And this isn't theory. We tested it, and we were doing something else. And it just so happened that anytime we submitted a URL with this type of structure, with the keyword multiple times, it just wasn't indexing. We changed the URL structure and it indexed. And so, you know, maybe it's I don't know, serendipity. I don't know what the hell it was, but we do know, and we tried it multiple times over a few weeks. It was that we tried this, and we just couldn't get it to index as well as if you don't include the keyword multiple times. So just a suggestion. It could be that you get away with it and it's perfectly fine. I found that they just don't index as well.
Yeah.
That's just something to keep in mind.
Thanks, Marco. Next was, when setting up profiles with local business directories for a local lead gen site, is it necessary to use a proxy with local IP address location to convince Google that they're genuine? No, Gordon. Because Google knows that a lot of people aren't going to build their own citations. They're going to hire services to do it. So I don't find that to be required at all. Where I do find that maybe to be necessary is if you're doing review posting, then you kind of want the IPs to be local to the businesses that you're reviewing. Otherwise, some of them will get filtered out. Yelp will filter shit out anyways, unless you pay them. They're extortion artists. But also any reviews submitted via like desktops, most of those get filtered out. The only way really to get stuff to stick in Yelp is either be a paying advertiser or to have reviews submitted via mobile devices, right? That's that. But again, like even Google listings, I know people's reviews can get posted even without the IP being local. I know that because I use some spam tools that will do that for me. So, or some spam services really. So anyways, that's not necessary. Number 3, if you get a backlink from an authority site with huge DA and TF metrics to an inner page of a lead gen site, can you place, say, 10 internal links at the bottom of the page to 10 other inner pages to distribute the SEO juice to those pages, or does the entire site benefit from that one authority backlink without any internal linking? Well, Gordon, I wouldn't recommend that you would split like that one link, like put a bunch of 10 internal links to 10 other posts or pages on that site unless it was within the same silo. Again, if you're using silo structure or architecture on your site, then if you've got a really powerful link pointing to a post or a page on your site, if that's in a silo, you could interlink from that page or post to other pages or posts within that same silo. And that would be very powerful, but it's not necessary if you've got your internal linking structure done correctly through your pages and posts within your silos anyways. It shouldn't matter because you should have it, all of the link equity, the link flow should be all set up correctly because your internal linking structure was already set correctly, if that makes sense. The point is, Network Empire, they used to call this buoyancy, right? Buoyancy, because with the silo structure, with your internal linking, if you do it correctly, then if you inject link equity or SEO juice, whatever you want, link juice, whatever you want to call it, at any point in the silo, it's going to improve the overall authority and relevancy of the entire silo, which is why it's called buoyancy, because it helps it to float higher up in the search rankings or the search results. Does that make sense? So if you're doing a silo structure and you have your internal linking correct, done properly, then a link to any point within that particular silo should make the entire silo rise, get better results, right? It should improve the rankings of it. Okay. So, but it, you know, again, I wouldn't cross post to distribute to other silos, because then you're actually bleeding the theme of a particular silo. And if you don't have any silos on the site, if it's just what they call a flat site, then I would probably do something like put a link, a contextual link, like to the home page or to a you know, a top level silo or category page or something like, well, in this case, without a silo, I would only point like an internal link to the pages that are going to generate the most traffic, if that makes sense. Okay. Adrian, hi guys. I've been trying to sign up for multiple expired Web 2.0 accounts that have been really struggling. I tried something called Storm Proxies, which had proxies that changed IP every 3 minutes, but they were really slow, so I canceled. Do you know of a quick way to sign up to multiple accounts? Thanks very much. Yeah, Adrian, I buy them. Honestly, I just buy all my accounts now. And unfortunately, I don't use any tools to generate accounts because of that very reason. They seem to just get suspended so quickly when you use automated stuff. So I just go to providers now and buy my accounts. You know, and we've also got our own spam team, our link building team that will, you know, has the capability of creating accounts and stuff too. Plus, you know, like all the stuff that we create via our syndication networks from inside of SerpSpace, the done for you syndication networks, those are all created manually. We use proxies most of those, our builders are in the Philippines. And so they go out and actually buy SIM cards and they register and phone verify accounts that way. So I would just recommend that you find a good provider and buy your accounts, Adrian, and save yourself the headache and the hassle of having to do that. Okay. We got a couple providers that we typically mention, guys. And if anybody else has providers, you're certainly welcome to post those on the page. I don't get any affiliate commission for this. I just do it because these are the providers that I use. Let me just grab one more real quick.
While you're looking for those, if he says he's trying to sign up for multiple expired Web 2.0 accounts, he could always go the Ghost browser or Browsio way. He could go that route with dynamic
expired Web 2.0s. Yeah. Okay.
Instead of dynamic proxies, you'll have to pay a little bit more, but you're not trying to get rid of the footprint when you sign in through these dynamic proxies. What you're trying to do is actually leave all the cookies and browsing history and everything else so that you can go into those expired accounts. Now, of course, if you're trying to manage hundreds, you shouldn't be doing it yourself. You should have someone doing it for you, but that would be another way that you could do it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I missed the part about the expired stuff. Yeah. Okay. So if you're going to find better proxies for that, what I would recommend, first of all, is you get dedicated proxies, because that might be part of the problem. Like I know Storm proxies are good, but they're supposed to be good anyways. God, look at all these questions, man. Holy crap. I'll stick around for about 10 more minutes beyond 5 o'clock, guys, but that's all I can do. Anyways, I would recommend, like, the providers that I use, like for proxies, and I have been for years now, is buyproxies.org or Easy Proxies. Those are the two that I use. And what I like about Easy Proxies is you can get dedicated proxies that remain like permanent. They don't refresh every 30 days, which is great for some stuff. Obviously, if the proxy burns out, you can get them replaced. All you got to do is contact support. But buyproxies.org, we get proxies refreshed every 30 days. And so if you're going to be doing a lot of that kind of stuff where you're trying to register expired Web 2s and you have to do it manually, first of all, I would recommend that as soon as you figure out a way to do it consistently, that you create a process doc and hire that out, because you can have a VA doing that for you for like $4 an hour, Adrian, and your time is certainly worth more than that. But yeah, I would recommend trying a different proxy provider maybe. Okay.
Real quick, for the rest of these, so we can get through them, and also just so everybody knows, if you can, really try to limit it to one question, because we definitely get bogged down if people ask 3-4 questions and we go through. So for the rest of these, we're probably only going to be able to answer one question. If you ask multiple, you know, if we have time, we'll get to it. But yeah.
So let me roll through these next few. Quit this house. Thanks for all the help you guys, for all you guys do to help us. You're welcome. How would you approach the video you would upload to Google My Business? How would you optimize the video? Okay, so right now I've only tested it with one video. I'm going to be doing more of that, a lot more of that when we get to the, well, first of all, Marco and I are developing a new course right now. I don't know if I should name it, but we're developing a new course right now that is dealing with specifically Google My Business. So that's something that I'll be testing over the next couple of weeks a little bit more. But then when I get into the video marketing module in the mastermind in May, then I'm going to be doing a lot of that too. But right now, all I've done is the file sizes are limited in what they'll allow you to upload. So all I'll do is like, I'll take a video and then I'll, you know, run it through Handbrake or something to kind of minimize the file size a bit. And then I just add all the metadata as usual and then upload the video directly in the GMB dashboard. Okay. And it, you know, it's pretty cool. You get your own share URL for it. So you can actually like use that to, you know, there's link spam and all kinds of stuff. So definitely check that out. As far as optimizing it, there's not really much you can do other than optimizing the file name and then obviously the metadata. So you can, you know, you can add a bunch of metadata to it before you upload it. That's all you can really do.
You know, I don't know if I should give this away, but I don't bother optimizing. I just make sure it gets uploaded from a local IP, and that's even better.
There you go. Jeff says, good afternoon, gentlemen. I know you've discussed Peter Drew software previously with regards to link building. I was wondering if you use MoneyRobot as a link building tool. What are the pros and cons from your perspective? Unfortunately, I can't answer that, Jeff. I don't use any link building tools except for Peter Drew's. That's the only tools that I use on personally, and it's only because I don't like complicated tools, and most all link building tools have a learning curve, and I do not have the time to play with those tools. I can hire somebody to do it for me. However, Peter Drew's tools are typically very, very simple now. Their interfaces are simple, and it's just like step by step. And it's very simple, and that's why I do use those manually. But everything else, I have, you know, we've got a provider that works with all those tools. He'd be able to tell you everything you need to know about all the different link spam tools that are available because he uses all of them. And his name's Mehul Plus or Dedia Mehul. You can tag him in one of our Facebook groups, and he usually comes in and will reply to questions like that. We got to keep moving. Rick says, hi, gents, video rank and rank question. Do all the videos.
Bradley, if you don't mind, I think this one's really good. I know I'm breaking the rule here with the one question, but Jeff's second one I think is a good one, especially since we tell people to watch who they work with.
Okay. I've got a client who after the end of the day will no longer be my client. What's the most eloquent way to tell them to piss up a rope?
Yeah, it's a good one, right? But I think it's also important because, you know, it takes a lot to tell someone no, but you don't burn bridges if you don't have to.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I don't know. It's difficult. You know, I've in the past let clients go and I've just told them that, you know, like I'm changing direction or changing industries and I'm going specifically like after a particular vertical and they no longer match that vertical. And, you know, I might try, it depends. If they're a pain in the ass client, which it sounds like this dude might be, or this business owner might be, then I won't recommend them to somebody else because I don't want to pass my nightmare or my problem off to somebody else. But if they were decent and it was just, there was some, like maybe we just didn't agree or something like that, then, you know, I might recommend somebody else to them or recommend them to somebody else. But yeah, I mean, you just try to have some tact about it, right? Be diplomatic about how you approach it. I used to have an arrogance about me. I've tried to get better about all that over the last year or so. And so sometimes I would burn a bridge just because it was my ego that got in the way. So now I really try to keep that in check. And it's just, you don't want to create a bad name for yourself in business. And that can happen very, very quickly if you rub somebody wrong, right? And so I highly recommend that you just try to be tactful about it, be respectful, you know, and try to leave the door open for potential future or, you know, like just even if you don't want to work with them in the future, just try to leave the door open so that you're not causing any animosity or bad blood or resentment. Does that make sense? Because that kind of shit could bite you in the ass, especially like somebody wants to go online and be a dick and like start posting negative stuff about your business because you let them go. So you want to try to avoid that. Yeah,
definitely. I think that's the way to go and take care of it before, hopefully it sounds like, you know, you're not losing your mind. So that's a good way to do it. You know, ditch them as a client before it comes to the point where, you know, you're freaking out and screaming.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, client selection is incredibly important. Trust your gut, guys. When you're making proposals, trust your gut feeling. If you go against it, you're going to get burned. Trust me. All right. Video rank and rank question. Do all the videos on the channel need to be in the same general industry, landscaping, roofing, and paving, etc., or can they be totally different? Like landscaping, optometrist, computer repair, or is it better for the channel's authority and rankability if the videos are in related fields? Now, you can have a channel that's broader as long as you silo the channel using playlists, Rick. However, you do get better. I've always found better results by having a channel that's tightly themed. Okay. So just so you understand, you can still do it with a more general channel, but just make sure that you're using playlists as a way to basically silo out your channel. That does work, but again, I've always found better results if I have a very tightly themed channel. So I prefer just to set up new channels for each industry. Like here's an example: home improvement channel, like a channel that is dedicated to home improvement contractors, for example. If you're doing local stuff, then that makes sense, right? It makes sense to have like an HVAC silo, right? A category, a silo, basically. Which is a playlist or multiple playlists. It makes sense to have one for HVAC and one's for electricians and one for plumbers and blah, 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 because it's overall a home improvement or contractor type of channel. However, I've found still, I mean, that's logical. It makes sense, but I've still found those are still all related fields, right? So that will still perform better than like what you mentioned here with landscaping, optometrists, and computer repair, because those are kind of like all over the place. So you're going to dilute the overall authority or relevancy of the channel itself because you have multiple themes. If that makes sense. If you can have congruent themes, you can get better results. Or if you tightly theme around a singular industry, you will get even better results. Does that make sense? All right, Jenny.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just to add, ART applies in YouTube also. Activity, relevance, trust, and authority. Don't break those. Try to keep those. And if you do that, you'll be rewarded. If you break it, you're going to have a harder time, especially if you're just starting out. And this seems like it's someone who's just starting out trying to figure out what to do. If you're just trying to figure out what to do, stay in the general theme, general industry, like you call it. Don't break the theme or industry in the channel. If you have to break it, go to a new channel.
Yeah. That's the way I do it, Rick. As I always build them out like what we just discussed. I try to keep them very, very tightly themed. Jenny, hello, gentlemen. Thank you. Thanks for talking so much about Power Suggest Pro and working out a discount for us. No brainer purchase. Loving the tool. You're welcome, Jenny. Again, guys, you know, we only fawn over tools like that when they're really that good, and it's just an amazing tool, guys. Amazing tool. I have a lead gen site and home repair niche. It operates in around 10 cities right now, and we will be expanding further. Right now, I only have one GMB location, major city. I was wondering what you think about setting up another location account using another persona's Google account. He will be like a location manager. Main city, .com/smaller city or smaller city. Okay. He will have completely separate IFTTT ring around his personal interests, then using the IFTTT ring to syndicate content from main domain. Only natural, right? That way I get another GMB location snack pack listing in smaller city, which produces quite a few leads at the end. And at the same time, keep every location separated from each other. And continue using this method for other lead producing cities. Go or no? So if it's for one particular, yeah, if it operates in 10 cities right now. I mean, look, the way I look at it is, guys, anytime I'm trying to do lead gen stuff, I just don't even try organic rankings anymore. Like, I just don't care. I always go directly for the GMB stuff and try to rank in the maps pack. And so if it requires me to go out and get a bunch of PO boxes and use the street address option, that's what I do. Just because I always find the best results in getting ranked in the maps pack for lead gen for local like services. So that's what I try to do. That's all I try to do. I don't care really much about the organic listings. Don't get me wrong. I track those too, but my goal is not to rank organically. It's to rank in the maps pack. If I rank in organically, then that's great. That's just bonus, right? That's just more listings. So yeah, I would say absolutely. If you're going to, Jenny, I would recommend that if you have the ability to go out and create additional GMB listings by, getting addresses and that kind of stuff, do that. It's going to definitely help. All right. Sean's up. Guys, I got about 7 more minutes that I can stay. How many powerhouse embeds are needed to generally rank a YouTube video for a YouTube query with approximately 1,300? I can't tell you that, Sean. I wish I could. If I knew like a set number, depending on like competition levels and stuff, then it would be incredibly easy for me to just be able to tell you guys, hey, just go get this many embeds and you'll rank. I can't tell you that. I have no idea. What I recommend, and this is the same recommendation I always give, is to start off small. Start with something like 50 embeds. Make sure that you're selecting secondary embeds. Make sure you're selecting the correct categories so that they're embedded in the proper themed categories. And then wait 14 to 21 days. Make sure you're dripping those out over like a 7 to 14 day period, and then go check your results 14 to 21 days later. And if you should see some movement. If you need more movement, then you do like another 50 embeds or no, 100 or something like that. I just always talk about starting conservatively because you'd be surprised at what kind of results you can get from our network now with just a handful of embeds, because it's an aged network now that's really tightly themed. So again, start small and just keep adding as you need to. I wish I could give you just a formula and say, hey, this many searches, you're going to need this many embeds. But if it was that easy, everybody would do it,
Yeah, how many? As many as it takes.
That's right. As many as it takes. Somebody might want to make a note of Sean Lundberg and talk. We might want to reach out to him individually if he's trying to arbitrage video powerhouse services at like scale. Might be worth a conversation.
Hey, Sean, send us an email, support@semanticmastery.com. I'll get it, and we can work something out and help you with that if you're doing it at scale. If not, you can certainly arbitrage the service.
Yep. And we're gonna be providing you guys with some information and some marketing materials on how to do that in the coming weeks on how to arbitrage SerpSpace services. So we're gonna actually help you guys be able to sell those services. That's coming over the next few weeks. Ivan, what's up, Ivan? He says, last week you talked about the Google My Business course and you said that you're only using what's inside the business profile. Do you use Adwords Express tool to get results? Can't wait to hear some more about the course. No, I don't recommend Adwords Express because it's very limited in how much and what kind of control you have over the ads. It's basically Google manages. Adwords Express is Google managing the campaign for if you're a verified local business. Google will manage the campaign for you. But I don't ever use that because I've always found that I can have much better control over my ad spend if I'm controlling the campaign. So like I don't use Google's bidding strategies or any of that. I do everything manual CPC settings inside of the traditional AdWords dashboard. So don't get me wrong. I will absolutely use AdWords as part of my local GMB stuff that I'm doing because AdWords freaking works, guys. You can literally buy traffic, and which will help the engagement, right? To help the engagement signals, which will help it to rank. And you can do some incredibly cool stuff. Can't get into it, but you can do some incredibly cool stuff with the GMB posts. And you can even drive traffic to those posts through like YouTube ads, which is buying traffic from YouTube, the proper approved way. Right. And you can send traffic for incredibly cheap to Google posts and things like that, which would just show activity on your GMB profile, which will help it to rank.
Yeah, but what we're doing right now, starting out, just so people know, is we're using all of the free tools that Google is giving us. Everything free that Google is making is giving us and putting at our disposal inside the GMB is what's being used to rank. I mean, this is what's so fucking awesome about the course that we're going to be putting out. You literally don't have to do anything. Well, I'm not going to tell you how. You'll have to wait for the course.
Yeah. Okay. Keith says, hey, guys, a big thank you for all the help and advice. What would you recommend in terms of easier to rank, a subdomain on a .com or a .club domain? The brand.com is not available, and we have a private membership site on the .club looking to drive traffic to the membership site. Well, I'm going to tell you to go with the .com if you can, only because, guys, there's just like there's recognition to that. However, I've been able to rank a lot of those crazy extensions. I've been able to rank them. I think it's probably easier to rank .coms than it is some of those weird extensions, but I have been able to rank those too, is my point. So, but I recommend trying to go on the .com just because, again, like it's more trusted. A lot of those, those weird extensions, like people just, they don't trust them as much. I'm not 100% sure why, but .com is just like standard operating procedure. That's what I would recommend. Although I'm not opposed to building sites on those, funny extensions. Okay. But I would recommend if you can go with the .com, like, the way you got it set up here, that's how I would try to structure it. All right. David, I'm really sorry I can't go through this huge question, man. Yeah, I can't do it. Let's see. Let me just here's the things. I'm not gonna be able to go through that. I don't have enough time, David. So I'll try to reply to you, David. I've got to run here in just a minute anyways, take my daughter to dinner. But
yeah, real quick, David, pop it into the group. You're part of the Syndication Academy. Definitely get it in there. Like I said, we want to answer it. We can get to it there. We can get to it another way. So pop it in the group. Yep.
Okay. Brian says, I'm developing a site in Spanish. Should my metadata and jsonld be in Spanish as well? Marco, it's a good question for you.
JSONLD is programming language. It can't be in Spanish. It is what it is. But the metadata, It's again code, and what's within the code should, if it's in Spanish, if it's anchor text or whatever the description, that should all be in Spanish, definitely.
Yeah. All right, looks like I'm gonna go up to here and then I'm done. Just because I said I was gonna cover this a little bit more. So Brian says, been posting the new Google posts and the GMB for a couple of weeks. Just wondering if you've seen any results in your rankings from posting on GMB posts, and if so, what kinds of things are you posting? Well, the posting itself, I don't know. I'm testing that, and I've got a couple clients that are really aggressively doing that, and they're seeing incredible results. And I'm testing too, and I'm seeing good results with the GMB posts. But it's not just about posting; you got to get traffic and clicks to them, right? At least through my experience, I found that if you can get traffic to those posts, it's going to have an enormous impact. But if you're just posting posts and nobody's seeing it and nobody's engaging on them, I don't know. It probably does still have an SEO benefit. I don't know what that is, because I'm making sure that I'm getting traffic to those posts. Marco, you got a comment for that?
Yeah, I mean, we're basing a whole course around what he's asking.
Yeah, right. So that's coming, Brian. We got the GMB course is coming out. I think we're planning on launching that in May, correct? Didn't we just talk about this yesterday?
Yeah.
I think May is the plan for that. So unfortunately, you might have to wait until then, Brian, for us to get you a better answer. Next, any way of getting Web 2.0's index this day? Seems Webmaster Tools will not do anything. Yeah, they put the squeeze on that. Google did, because it was getting spammed to death. Any recommendation to getting these things indexed? Yeah, I wouldn't sweat it to really worry about it that much. But if you want to, just build spam links to your Web 2.0s, guys. Like, just buy a spam link package. That tends to get stuff indexed. Okay, just build links to them. They'll get indexed. But again, Google's seeing it whether it's indexed or not, and you're still getting credit for it. All right. All right. Last two, guys, and I have to wrap it up. This was Christopher Ulrich. This is the one that we were talking about. The other question about the WordPress.com stuff. Just very quickly, yes, Christopher, you can use self-hosted sites and install WordPress on them, and you can still use them in the syndication networks. But part of the reason the WordPress.com sites were included in the syndication networks is because there's inherent authority on the WordPress.com domain. That's why. If you want to go out and build your own WordPress sites to be used in syndication networks, you certainly can. But I would recommend that you try to find domains that had, were themed similarly, that had some authority. I know I talk about metrics, guys, not being the best thing to build on anymore, but I would still try to get something with some metrics that was themed correctly. All right, Earl's question. Since you're doing press releases today, any hints on dealing with the fact that releases tend to disappear from news sites quickly? How can we best prolong the benefit of these releases? Earl, all of that is covered in Local PR Pro very, very thoroughly. Okay, because yes, a lot of press releases purge. That's what I call beware of the purge, because that's what they do. But you can find particular press release publishing points or syndication points that don't purge. Like, for example, organization pages on the distribution networks that you're using. Those are prime targets for the stack method. Because again, a lot of they will just get deleted. So you have to find out ones that don't get deleted, or use assets that won't be deleted, which don't necessarily need to be specific press releases. They could be like organization pages. And again, all of that is covered in the training, guys. All right, last question. I covered this briefly earlier, but I'm going to cover it a little bit more. If outsourcing all this is from Rebecca, if outsourcing all this in the end, what would be the overhead cost for doing one site? I can't answer that, and I can't tell you how much it's going to cost to rank a site, guys, because I don't know. There's too many variables. And so this is what I tried to, I replied to her via email as well, but I wanted to cover this for everybody's benefit. So she asked, how many tools do you need to add to your toolbox to be able to do this? None. This is, again, guys, the whole point of Local PR Pro is that it can be outsourced, other than you need to sell it, and then you need to provide the PR writers with who, what, when, where, and in a quote, and the links that you want to link to. That's it. Who, what, when, where, and a quote from an executive, or if you're doing review stuff, which again is covered in the training. One of the strategies I use is every time a business gets a new review, it's not every time, but I select like for my clients, I select one of the reviews that they received in the last 30 days, or if it's a client, some clients are doing 2 per month, 2 press releases per month. we select reviews that have been posted within the last 30 days, and then we do publish a press release about that review, right? And so the quote ends up being the quote, the review copy, the text that was posted in the review. So again, who, what, when, where, and a quote is all you need, and then the links that you're trying to promote. And that's all you need. The press release services should write the press releases and distribute them for you. It's not going to cost you anything else other than the cost of the press release and the distribution. And again, places like SerpSpace, we provide the writing and the distribution all in one package. Okay. She says, I'm trying to understand overall investment at my end to purchase your training to be able to execute. So as far as overhead costs for one site, guys, I can't answer that only because there's too many variables, right? Depends on many things. The competition level of the keyword depends on your website and how it's structured. Your Google My Business, do you have a verified Google My Business property? That's required, by the way. It has to be a verified Google My Business property if you're trying to rank in the 3-pack. But you know, even though I've been able to get results with a single landing page, a one-page ClickFunnels page that didn't really have any content on it, I wouldn't recommend that. You can certainly get better results if you've got a website that's optimized well. If you've got a syndication network to validate the entity, if you've got a drive stack, you combine those 3 things: syndication networks, drive stacks, Google My Business profile, and press releases. So 4 things. You combine those 4 things, and it's like there's pretty much nothing you shouldn't be able to rank for, right? And as long as the site is built well and optimized well. So there's a lot of variables there, but again, I've mentioned this in the training and even probably on the sales page. 80% of I had 80% success rate with getting into the 3-pack within 6 press releases, published at the rate of 1 every 2 weeks. So 12 out of 15 properties that I applied this to, I was able to rank in the 3-pack within 12 weeks tops. Okay, so you do the math, whatever that cost would be. All right, guys, we're way over, but there was a lot of questions. Sorry I didn't get to all of them, guys. I really apologize, but it is what it is. We had a busy day. So we appreciate everybody being here. If you have any questions, post them in the regular or the appropriate groups, and we'll get to them. And I'll try to answer that one long question in the group later tonight or tomorrow, okay? Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.